Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and my kitchen. I obviously have not been doing a lot of videos lately, but I wanted to make sure that I covered Moon Knight. What an incredible show. Surprisingly conservative. I can't even believe it. But before we get into that, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell to get notifications, and comment below what you guys thought of Moon Knight. Wow. They actually had kind of a sort of almost conservative show, and not to mention it actually was really good writing. I really enjoyed the episode. From the very beginning, the first episode, I thought it was so weird and creepy and just really weirded me out. In the first episode, we get introduced right in the beginning to Stephen Grant, who is kind of almost this Spider-Man-esque personality, kind of Peter Parker-esque personality, very almost childlike personality. And you really are set up this is the main guy in the beginning. And you really come to care about this character. And that's something that's really important that I find lacking in other shows, is I don't care about a lot of these characters. But with this one, it opens up and you really feel for this character and the struggles that he goes through and how his mind is not quite right and he can't understand why, he ends up in different situations and he thinks he's dreaming in some of the situations, and other times, he's losing days of his life and he's missing important events of his life because he keeps blacking out and he can't figure out why, ends up losing his job over it. And just for all of you guys' awareness, I'm going to just spoil like heck out of this show because it's all out. You guys should have binged it by now already. So just to continue on, he finds this cell phone in his apartment and it belongs to somebody named Mark. And we find out that his alter ego, one of the other personalities in his head, is actually a man named Mark. And the woman on the other end of the phone that he finds is Mark's wife. And so he discovers that he's married, but he isn't actually married to her. And so it's just a really great way of, Oscar Isaac's ability to go back and forth between the two characters, Mark and Steven, which have two different accents, two completely different personalities. It's really top-notch, incredible stuff. I was really, really pleased with what I saw there. I enjoyed the fact that it was very oddly pro-life for a Disney show. There's a line in the second episode where Steven is talking about how children, child murder is wrong, of all things, which, in our society, apparently child murder is not wrong. And so it was nice to hear a character actually acknowledge, this is probably where I draw the line, quote. So I really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed a lot of different episodes. I enjoyed it all the way through. I never was bored, although I do think the first two episodes were my favorites. And then the fifth episode, obviously, we find out why Steven/Mark are two different people almost, or two different personalities of the same person residing in the same body. And then the big reveal at the end, which if you guys didn't pick up on this with all the hints that they dropped all throughout the season, there's actually a third personality, and he is almost like the Punisher in personality. Very kind of evil, dark, brutal kind of character. So the whole show was just really, really fantastic. I enjoyed the very moral undertones. I enjoyed that it was almost kind of like a, what's the movie series featuring Harrison Ford that's not Star Wars? Oh gosh, what's wrong with me? I have to figure this out. Gosh darn it, it was Indiana Jones, and I didn't even have to Google it. I figured it out after I turned the camera off. So yeah, it was very Indiana Jones-esque. I haven't actually finished those movies. I've only seen pieces of them, but that's kind of the vibe that it gives. I really enjoyed the female character. It was really nice to have a character that acknowledges the fact that she's not a superhero without, spoiler alert, she gets superhero powers at the end, but she's not a superhero throughout most of the show. And so she actually has female physical limitations. Women have a, less bone density than men. And so they just cannot physically fight the same way that men can. So she has to find creative ways to get around that. I really found that ingenious and interesting and much more realistic than a lot of these other Marvel shows and superhero shows and just general TV that tries to convince me that women are of the same bone density, if not heavier than men are. That's just not how science works, guys. I know we're trying to be pro-science here, but life begins at conception, and women cannot fight men in the same way that men can fight men. That's just the way this works. So Just to kind of continue on, I don't have a lot of, like, I really just enjoyed the aesthetic. I enjoyed the realism that we got. I enjoyed the creative elements that they brought into the storytelling where, you know, as I said, acknowledging the limitations that women have physically, acknowledging that Stephen and Mark are two different personalities, but they are the same person. And, you know, the awkward situation where with the fact that Mark is married, but Stephen technically is not, but technically they both are married to the same woman. It's very, very fascinating, very surprising. The villain really held true and held up throughout, with this big reveal of the big monster at the end, which was really, really interesting. I was really thrilled with it. Yeah, I'm so happy to see Oscar Isaac finally get a good show / movie, because he's just really been given the short end of the stick throughout his kind of popcorn-esque part of his career, shall we say. He's gotten Star Wars, which bombed. He's gotten Dune, which was good, except for his character gets killed halfway through. Spoilers. And now we finally get to see him in something where his acting chops really got to be showcased, and I really appreciated that and enjoyed that. So, again, this is kind of a shorter review video. The show's all, you know, already over. And if you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what's wrong with you. It was shockingly conservative, wild ride, really exciting, kept me guessing, kept me wondering, never got bored. That's all of those things are kind of important, and even better than WandaVision, which kind of fell flat towards the end. Not completely, but kind of. This one holds up throughout the entire series. 6 episodes, they kept it tight. I think that's really important with a show, not to drag it out too long so that you're not just shoving in extra crap that doesn't need to be in there. So it was a great show. I highly recommend watching it. And yeah, like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell to get notifications, and comment below what you guys thought. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.